to share. We have a number of people who will be participating in the presentation this evening, and we're going to, this is where our agenda will be this evening. We will be talking about what is the referendum question, what are the goals of the project, what is the design of the project, what is the funding of the project, and what can we expect. The board has been talking about for some time what the needs are at the high school. And at its regular meeting on December 16th, 2013, the board adopted a resolution to place a referendum question on the March 18th ballot. And this question will ask the voters to approve the issuance of $29 million in bonds for improvements to the Round Lake High School. Per a statutory formula, the district may not issue more than $29 million in bonds. This referendum question in the ballot language is as follows. Shall the Board of Education of Round Lake Community Unit School District number 116, Lake County, Illinois, build and equip additions to, improve the site of, alter, repair, and equip, and demolish a portion of the Round Lake High School building, including constructing a new gymnasium, new classrooms, new STEM, and STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math labs, and a new student commons, installing technology and security improvements, and constructing improvements to enhance student circulation, and issue bonds of said school district to the amount of $29 million for the purpose of paying the cost thereof. That is the question which will be on the ballot on March 18th. We would like to show you a short video, a 7-minute video of what a day looks like here at the high school as far as movement through the halls, as well as what some of the students have to say about their experience here at Round Lake High School.
The principal of Round Lake High School, and I've been asked to share a little bit about the space and overcrowding issues throughout the building. I think if one were to walk throughout the building, especially during the passing periods, I believe that the traffic, the bottlenecks, and the overcrowding are clearly visible.
Given the money to expand the school, it would help a lot, not only because of all of the overpopulation in the school, but it would also help us with the student to staff ratio, and it would help us personally because we could get more time with our teachers than having an overflow classroom where we don't really get that individual attention.
I think the extra space would also benefit the students because they could get to class on time, and students would just have more of an opportunity to have their own space rather than everybody piled on top of each other during passing periods.
My name is Miranda, and I go to Round Lake High School. I'm a senior, and the congestion in the hallways is really bad. I feel like if the school were to get money, then it would be a lot more easier and make it more simple. You can get to classes way quicker, and it would cut the passing period a lot shorter.
quote. As the video demonstrates, there is definitely a need here in high school for this initiative. But I wanted to start off with the global overarching goals that Board of Education has set. And actually, we started this back last April, with a meeting the board had where we set what we call roles, goals, and controls. What we established is alleviate overcrowding at the high school in order to improve the educational environment. I think as the video clearly shows, high school is very overcrowded. Eliminate the dual bell schedule and remove affordable classrooms. We also talked about budget goals, design funding capacity, and ask for the maximum capacity. Design within the total project budget, and to include a 15% construction contingency. As we all know, with any construction project that you do, whether at home or in no case building a school, we will always run into something where, when we start opening up parts of the building. Identify all operational costs. This includes maintenance and personnel, technology, and everything is included in this budget. Some of the design goals we set was obviously the classroom additions to the existing high school, student-centered design solutions, daylight, indoor air quality, thermal comfort, acoustics, and of course, ability to deliver 21st century learning. Anytime, anywhere learning and technology rich, something that we kind of lacked here at the high school. Aesthetically appropriate, how it all comes together, fixed within the community values and culture, maximum value and sustainability. History of the Design Committee, the meeting started back in September 2013. We met anywhere from twice a month to review the scope and design budget, and consisted of board members, community members, students, teachers, and staff. I think it's important to mention that community members didn't mean just parents. We really wanted all community members, whether they had children in the district, Catholic, at some point, or just members of the community. Program spaces, the additions to serve 750 students is 24 general classrooms, 6 per grade level, 4 STEM classrooms, 1 special needs classroom, 1 digital arts classroom, and of course 1 full-size gymnasium, which provides 2 additional teaching stations, as we do have a lot of requirements in classes.
I would like to say one thing about the program. If you've been to the community forum before, you might notice it's changed a little, and that's intentional. As we started to interface with the end users and the teaching staff and developing the final program, there were a lot of needs that we needed to address that weren't covered in the first point. The key is the number of classrooms has never changed. All of these top 3 categories have never changed. We've just redefined some of the other spaces. And particularly the gymnasium addition became a high need, especially with reducing the two bell schedules that need to get done. What I'm going to show you in the next few slides is where the design is today. And the design isn't complete. You can't just take these documents out to bid tomorrow. We even have to continue to develop them after the referendum. But what we wanted to show you tonight is where it's developed to. You can see now looking at multiple additions. We have the STEM area, which is adjacent to the existing science labs and science wing. We have the largest part of the addition, which is the 24 core classrooms, and they kind of wrap around the large portion of 4 classrooms here, and then the additional gymnasium. And this is a full gymnasium, but it's not like an auxiliary court for like competition. We use competition, doesn't have bleachers to the extent to hold a whole meet or something. Yeah. Then we have some interior renovations that are occurring. We're connecting the suites of classrooms here with the suite of classrooms that's right here with a collaboration space that will open it up for both circulation as well as creating additional spaces for breakouts and for the students. We also will have the serving line at the cafeteria. If you've ever been, you saw lots of images in the video of the cafeteria during lunch. It's very congested to get into to get food. And so one of the primary adjustments we're doing is opening up that serving line so that it's more efficient. You can get a large number of students through the building, through the space without most of it being waiting line time. So, and then in addition, we've included the reconfiguration of the main lobby. If you've ever broken your leg and had to get around the building, you might know it's kind of challenging if you're handicapped in any way. Because there's a lot of stairs, there's a lot of elevation changes. You can even tell just coming down here tonight, it's probably a 20-foot drop from this end of the building all the way down to here. And all those elevation changes aren't through as you go through the building. And one of the things that we thought was in terms of, as Annette pointed out, about kind of bringing the building all together, having a main entrance that alleviates that ADA problem. So you'll be coming in to the building now on grade, and you'll be able to come right into our new addition at the same elevation. And that'll be a new thing. That'll also allow, it'll also allow an individual to come in and go into the elevator, which is right here, and move around the building fairly well. We also have another elevator down in this end that's going to help a lot. This is the gymnasium. It's a 2 teaching stations. There's a partition in there. There's additional storage, which is important as well. This is kind of the exterior elevations of those. This is the south addition. Again, it's the largest addition with the most classroom needs and areas in here. You see some images here. Again, you can see the dramatic drop when you come down from the site. This is where we are tonight in the auditorium. And you go up the hill, and kind of come back up here, and this will be the front entrance. So you can see there's quite a dramatic drop when you look at it flat. This would be the new entrance to where we came in tonight. You know, you come into that circle drive area, and you come into the glass doors there. We're going to be pushing that further out. This addition will be taking up a lot of that circle drive that we made more. You see it a nice entrance, and you show some images of the inside as well. This will be the new student commons. So you come in, you're kind of coming in from where we're standing, and you're looking at risers that double as seating spaces for the students. And there's projections, so it can also be an additional teaching space, teaching and learning space for a larger group when you come out here for the day and project on that wall. You can also, there's also stairs access to get to walk up and down as well. And you can see it in plan here. This is the area we're just looking at. We're kind of standing right here looking this way. Okay, this is on the level we're at the lobby there. That's the new entrance, and if you think about it, the way we're coming now is kind of over here. It's through the doors that are right here. Now you're coming in more directly. And then there'll be an elevator, an additional elevator to get up and down, and more restrooms as well. This is what we're calling the intermediate level. We'll one level up here. And it'll come in to the same level that the music and orchestra rooms are now, band rooms are now. You can get up here to those rooms, or come around here to those rooms, down your existing corridor. This is how you come to down the music. We'll have multiple ways to do that. This is one of those collaboration zones. And again, it's basically a corridor, but it's opportunity to obviously widen the corridor and move people through this area to get back and forth. And again, the main entrance here, you have access to get into the elevator, the existing elevator that's right there. This is the level, this is close-up of the intermediate level on this end. So you can see a little bit more clearly the second floor. This is at the other end of the intermediate level, again, the main piece here. And then there's a second student common. This is the plan and a little bit of perspective of what those collaboration areas might look like. We've got a little bit of soft seating as well as hard surface where students can collaborate with one another. And again, this is the upper floor above that. Remembering the elevation. This is where the level above it goes and aligning with the same level as below. Above this level here, the ceiling heights in your existing building are going fairly low. So we're trying to make more conducive to higher volume. But the nice part about this commons area is that at this elevation, you can overlook it. You can look into, if you go up the stairs, you can look into that space below. And here's if you're standing up on that balcony level. This is if you're looking up to that person standing up on the balcony level. Again, some soft seating, some treatments in the rooms to keep it from being too loud. But also, it's more cafe style. It's collaboration. It's where we all want to be. Not where we're kicking kids out of here, rather than asking them to leave. This is the proposed main entrance. You can see at grade when you come in right to the front here, and then that's this double volume space is at student commons area. This is the front entrance. Again, we're reconfigured. There's no longer the ramp that goes down to this area. There's a slight grade change as you move from here to there, but it's within, you won't notice it. It's going to go down a little bit, but you're not going to notice the entrance. And then we have the same stairs over there, and we're reconfiguring the access to the classrooms, current classrooms that are up here. This goes down to the student commons, the lunch and cafeteria space that we made high school. And then access from here into the collaboration, student collaboration area. And now instead of everybody coming in and maybe going here or everybody coming in and going here, you also folks can come in and go directly down that hallway. During the course of the design, there was a number of spaces that we discussed that weren't quite completely developed on a curriculum level. And one of the things we've been talking about, not just as a firm, but everybody, we don't want to build a space if we don't have the curriculum to fill it. We want to build a curriculum and then design a space for it. So we stopped designing some of these areas until we got a curriculum brought up to speed. As you know, Dr. Mendoza's new this year is not going to come in and just change everything. We wanted to really understand the logic and the choices. And again, from teaching and learning, it was these are the things, the kind of things you want to do that we're not doing and we don't have spaces for. So a number of field trips were made, different places were visited, different concepts were brought to the district. We have got resolution on how we want to take these now. So these were undesigned. Will be continued design. We're working on them now. Actually, we'll be continuing design between now and referendum, and there'll be some overlap after referendum to bring them up at the same levels for the rest of the building. But we know exactly what we're doing now in the STEM classrooms. We also have a business incubator lab and some renovations that have occurred in January to accommodate those programs. The construction schedule, again, election day is the 18th. We'll be completing the design between April and May, and hopefully at the end of June we'll have to begin. Again, with the end of design spaces, we want to bring them up to speed so we have one big package going forward, and then start the construction immediately, which will overlap the winter and go into next year as well. And the desired completion to be at the end. So the kids come back from winter break and come into the new spaces.
Thank you. We've heard about from the Board of Education, the goals they set out a few years ago, We've heard what the design committee has designed, and then also what the board looked at and tentatively approved last night. Now, questions you may have, what about finances? How is this going to impact me as a homeowner? What this chart does, it tries to say, the little chart over here indicates that if we do nothing, tax rates, which ultimately end up tax rate times your home value, will determine how much taxes you pay, are anticipated going up over the next 4 or 5 years. The district issued debt years ago, some of it in a balloon payment kind of format. If you, from a homeowner perspective, if you've ever borrowed money hoping to repay it down the road, that's sort of what has happened here. There's a slide here next to show you what that looks like. Our goal in this referendum is to reissue some of the existing debt over the next 2 years, then issue the new debt on top of it to end up that the tax rate will stay the same for the balance of the repayment of this debt. So your taxes will not go up as a result of this. The debt service component will not go up as a result of the referendum. And here's sort of a visual of we're in this time frame right here for the next five years. The debt's going to go up from dollars and cents to 6.4 million right now. It's scheduled to go up 8.4 million in the 2007 time frame. And then it'll drop off, and there's debt continues to 2024. The plan again is to refinance that debt that is higher than the current level of 6.4, and then fill in and backfill the new debt to where we have a consistent 1.74 as a tax rate. Again, we're making some presumptions about equalized assessed value, that it will stay very, our estimates are conservative. We're not saying property values will skyrocket. We're saying it's going to stay, hopefully not decline anymore, but stay fairly consistent. So we're not giving you some false expectations. But how does this translate into your own situation? We have a couple graphs here that if you have a house that's valued at $100,000, your payment that you might pay this summer, $478 for the school district's component of the debt service. And then it'll go up to 508, 530, 606, 631. Our proposal here is that we're going to keep it level at 475. Granted, it does start to go down, but it's not costing you any more by this referendum. And if you have a $200,000 home, same situation. Taxes are going to go up the next 4 or 5 years on the debt service component of your taxes. And our goal is to make sure that they stay the same and don't go up, and hopefully will go down. So with that, questions have been asked. What can we expect out of the referendum? And Dr. Mendoza is going to talk about some of this stuff.
I'm going to do my best not to read the slides, but just talk a little bit about some of the program enhancements. Because in the end, this is really about benefits that our students can get through this enhancement. But certainly, we really want to focus on thinking classrooms. We want to provide an environment that allows students to progress through their high school experience with meaningful educational experiences. And frankly, not only is this about enhancing what we offer, but if Dr. Collins was approved and the board would approve, but having more space will allow us to increase what we're offering kids in the building. And frankly, I think they deserve that. So it does give us more classrooms, gives us more programmatic flexibility, allows us to enhance the type of environment in which the kids are expected to learn. We also have significant limitations with physical education space, and I know that's not considered a core subject. However, it is a state mandate. Students are expected to take 4 years of physical education, and we know there is more of an emphasis on wellness. So frankly, not only would the new gymnasium enhance the number of stations that our kids could participate in, but it really would allow us to really take a hard look at the curriculum structure in PE, to moving from a more traditional-based physical education environment to more of a wellness and fitness-based environment. We want our kids to be engaged. I think that is a very common term now, in some ways overused. but we want our kids to have experiential learning. And right now, today, we have kids taking science in English classrooms. And when that happens, our teachers are working hard, our kids are focused, but in the end, we end up having to demonstrate labs for the kids rather than having them construct meaning by experiencing in the labs directly. So the classrooms would definitely be an enhancement in that area. One of the areas of focus is to really provide a college and career focused high school. So getting our kids, when they come to us, really starting to think as freshmen, what is that path through high school and where is that going to lead? And one of the things that this expansion, this referendum would do is it would allow us to enhance our career and technical education curriculum for our kids. We would be able to explore, we are exploring, but we would be able to implement Project Lead the Way in our school. Project Lead the Way is basically a STEM, for lack of a better term, a STEM-based program/curriculum that really focuses on one of three areas: biomedical science, architecture, and engineering. Our path, we've talked about it, we would progress down the engineering path. One of the benefits is if this passes, we would be able to offer the first two strands of that path here in our building. That may not seem very important, but what it does is it not only increases the number of kids that are able to participate in that engineering path, but what it does, it eliminates the or question. And here's what I mean. When the kids go to College of Lake County, we're a great partner with them. So this isn't designed to be critical of College of Lake County. They're great partners with us. But if they take Project Lead the Way at College of Lake County, we send fewer students and they have to choose. So do you want to take Project Lead the Way, or do you want to take this elective? What it does, it turns it into an and discussion. If we're able to offer those electives here, not only could they participate in their core subject areas, they could also participate in the elective-bearing engineering Project Lead the Way path, but they would also have opportunities to take other electives that were of interest to them. We would also be able to enhance our business curriculum. I think this is a really underserved area. I think this would enhance interest in starting businesses along that business path. So one of the things that we would be able to do with this is construct a very progressive, technology-based capstone classroom for business development in our kids. And I think they deserve an environment like that. So those are things we are exploring, and I wanted to highlight those in the presentation. I know this seems obvious, but when our kids are not in core classes, they have to be somewhere. When they're not in lunch, they have to be somewhere. When they're not in elective, they have to be somewhere. So right now, because of our space limitations, if we have kids that aren't in core elective-bearing credit, or they're not in lunch, or they're not in PE, they're in study hall. Because we have very limited flexibility in terms of spots for them to be. So one of the things that would derive benefit, and I think our kids would be most excited about, would be the expansion of these large common areas in the building. We could use them for, it would be multi-use, lecture-style instructional areas, but also, more importantly, common areas for our kids to convene and collaborate and talk. And frankly, I think our kids deserve that. So that would be a definite enhancement as a result of this. We would have more flexibility in terms of where our kids are during the day. We would have additional small group areas and large group areas for instruction. Again, curriculum enhancement and flexibility. And then, frankly, with the expansion of the PE portion of the building, the gymnasium, and the common areas, we would be able to appropriately expand opportunities for our kids to participate in activities after school, and possibly even during the school day. And obviously, this is a taxpayer-funded facility, so we would also be able to expand use for community groups outside the school day. We know there are great things going on in our kindergarten through 8th grade, our kindergarten and 8th grade schools. I am working on a comprehensive improvement plan. We'll talk to Dr. Collins about it, or I'm really excited to present that to you in early March. So, you know, I don't think space is the only aspect of our student achievement. We definitely need to do better with our instructional delivery and our programming, but I can tell you without hesitation, I do believe we are limited from a programmatic perspective because of our space. We are moving our kids. Our kids are growing. When we get our kids, they start at one level and they move to the next. One of the primary indicators of success in any high school in Illinois is the ACT. You have the ACT, which our juniors take, but you also have the sophomore version of the ACT, which is the plan, and then the freshman version of the ACT, which is the Explore. And for us, we really try to make the expected rates of growth from Explore to plan to ACT. So what I wanted to show you, which is depicted in this slide, this is a slide of current seniors who took the ACT last year. And you will see in English, reading, math, and science, if you look at the blue metrics, our kids are growing. So for example, in English, you see 14.2 to 16.1. And so you're going to see growth in every area. Now I would say, if you go to the right, the numbers in red are the metrics connected to the expected rate of growth as defined by ACT. So we are growing, for example, in English, 1.9, math reading, 1.3, math, 2.1, etc. So we have some work to do. This is not necessarily uncommon. It's not unique to other high school. It's not unique to our high school. But you should also know that when you look at our Explore plan, we are exceeding the expected rates of growth from ACT, from Explore to plan, which again is the freshman and sophomore metric. And I actually could probably talk about this in another 20 minutes, but I will tell you that we do flood our incoming freshmen with support, which is why we think that they perform at this level. But I would also say is from plan to ACT, from sophomore to junior year, things get much more complex. And so frankly, I believe that we would see a definite improvement with our achievement through a combination of more space and better instructional programming in the high school. So with that, I will pass it over to the assistant superintendent.
Thank you, Dr. So that really concludes the presentation. Again, you can contact me, you can contact Dr. Collins, you can contact the board of education if you want. So I just gave you one individual in case you wanted to contact one single person. I can answer any questions you may have regarding the referendum and the next reading. So with that, are there any questions? We did have some hard to sign questions. If there are any questions, we'll address those questions. Yes, sir?
What would be out of the question to be building a brand new school instead of piecemeal with a 60-year-old building?
That's a good question. One of the early slides is we demonstrated that due to state statutes, we can't borrow $120 million. Between $150
But tax going to stay the same for all that. When you think people would want to give a little bit more to have a
but under the current state statute, we have to get the legislature to approve us going over because they want to protect school districts.
You keep on saying for the kids,
Right.
but this piecemealing is not working. What are we doing in another 12 years?
Well, the growth over the next 10 years says that what we're constructing here will house the potential growth.
Do you live in the community?
No, I do not. But, you know, that question has come up, and we would dearly love to build a brand new building. We don't have the flexibility to borrow $120 million. Any other questions?
Do we know in terms of the square footage, how much we're adding to the school?
It was 72 or 73,000 square feet of new space. Plus, we're going to be renovating 20 to 25,000 square feet.
We've had some talk
there's a lot of need in the existing facility, and the gentleman's question is a valid one. You go to all buildings, it's just not in clause, unfortunately. You might recall, if you've been on this before, the facility master plan indicated somewhere close to almost $80 million that we need just at the high school. Just in the high school facility. They have to receive modifications.
I'm sorry.
The facility master plan indicated about $80 million worth of needs and improvements within this building. Whether it was HVAC changes, reconfiguration of classrooms to accommodate enough people, and finishes, all of everything. I mean, there's a lot of need in that. And it was based on an assessment our team had done 3 years ago. So in terms of what we are doing versus what we can do, we're limited, as you know, by the dollar, we can't do anything about the work, but the opportunities we've talked about, particularly within the plan, is if you look at this overall, this one. There's a lot of, we're cutting through here, so you've got brand new floors and brand new fresh painted walls right through here, but then you have this new space. One of the opportunities we're looking at now is maybe this whole corridor gets new finishes as well, so that this whole suite starts to feel like it's part of the new addition. You don't really know where the new and existing design. So there's that opportunity. We're trying to incorporate into finishes and inspirations potentially in these spaces. But also when you look at this lobby up here, if you walk out there, it's quarry tile, and it's kind of hard to clean. One of the things we're going to do is remove all of that and make it all one consistent surface and all they do. And we'll take it all the way out to the side doors that are over on this side as well. So those are some of the inside spaces, existing spaces that are going to appear new. Same with the front entrance, which we talked about changing. This will be completely new when you come in. You won't have the ramps going down, and you won't have the ramps going up. It'll feel much more open, even though this is still fairly narrow, but it's going to feel a lot more open than it's ever has because of the existing ramps and things that are in there. So that's just a point.
Talk about the security office in the front.
Yeah, it's right here. It's really a counter, but when you come in here, you'll have a transaction counter there that you can check in, and then they'll write you in here, they'll buzz you in this way, rather than out on this side. And then this is like a transaction counter where you get your name badge and you walk around. So I mean, that's in there as well. The other big area that again will be very noticeable is the cafeteria. I don't have good images except the floor plan that shows where it is. But the food serving line, you come into the main downstairs there, and you go into a single door, so a 3-foot door down a 4-foot corridor, right next to the food manager's office. So you've got a person who doesn't want to come out of their office during the food service line, and every student in the district goes every student in high school goes through that line, and that's where all their time is spent. For a 45-minute period to eat, they're probably spending 30 to 40 of it in some cases, standing in that line waiting to get their food. The serving lines will be open up to 4 serving lines where individuals can come in and you'll have access to these things. So that's another big interior change. And if you did that just in itself now, it would be a huge improvement to the way that food is delivered in the cafeteria.
I want to go back to the question that, I don't know if this is working, I can talk about it if I need to, but I want to go back to the question that the gentleman asked earlier, and Tammy and Bill, I think between the two of you that we can get an answer to that, because I think he feels that his question was not answered, and that was brand new school, and just what the cost of a brand new school would be, and what would it
building, a brand new school. So if we could go back to that and answer that question so that that can go on the record of what the impact and what the cost of buildings a brand new school would be. So, Tammy and Bill, if you could please respond to that.
I will start out with Tammy fill in where I think this or when they did, Trenton County did their whole plan 2 or 3 years ago, they estimated about $115 million for a brand new school. We've since then inflated that a little bit to $120 million is what we think a brand new high school would cost. If you look at it from a couple perspectives, one perspective is the impact to the taxpayer. We did some analysis, and as with the $29 million, we're able to keep the tax rate the same for the debt service for the duration of the bonds. If we go and if we were successful in being able to issue $120 million worth of bonds, that's going to take the local taxpayers' taxes up at a minimum of $600 per year just for the debt service component of the tax levy. And it may even be higher. And so that is one factor. The other factor, again, is we don't have the legal authority to go above $29 million as it currently stands. The state has implemented a procedure or a rule that says you have a maximum debt service capacity. And so they say that that's a number up here. You subtract what your outstanding debt is, and the difference between what your cap is and your outstanding debt is the amount that you can borrow. And for us, that's somewhere in the neighborhood of $29 million. So that's a limitation, plus the concern over the impact of the taxpayers. We felt that this accomplishes the classroom needs that we hear, and so it builds the 30 classrooms. Granted, it's not a brand new facility, but based on those limiting factors, we feel it serves the need of the community. One other thing that I wanted to point out, we didn't really highlight it very much, but this the South Addition here does all sorts of good things regarding the flow of student traffic. If you look at the pink or lighter looking color, that's the existing floor plan. If you wanted to get to this room, or you had a class, a drama class in here during the school day, and you start out up here by the science, the only way for you to get back here is to go through this little narrow corridor right there. With the South Addition, you'll have at least 2 to 3 different opportunities. Granted, they're all on the same path, but there's multiple layers that you can get to here. So it will help the traffic flow around this building if you're going from one end to the other end.
And I have all the confidence in the world in Bill and his expertise. Tammy is the district's financial advisor, so she works with a company that provides financial advice to the school district. So she's in the audience also. So therefore, they both concur that the information that was shared, and we want to be sure that we get it to the gentleman who left earlier so that he knows that we have, really corroborated the information that was shared. Any other questions? Yes.
Is the fact that we have that ceiling that we can use more than $29 million a result of the financial goals that we've seen in the past?
No, ma'am. There's a formula that the state outlines, and it takes your equalized assessed value, that's the property of the value of the property within the district, and it says you cannot borrow more, I believe it's 13.8%. You cannot borrow more than 13.8% of that, which in our calculation is somewhere around $60 million. We have $30 million of outstanding debt, so it says we only have that $29 to $30 million available for us to borrow. And that number will fluctuate from year to year by 2 factors. One, again, is based on equalized assessed value, so if values go down like they have over the last 4 or 5 years, that lowers that maximum. And the other component that will affect that is as you pay off existing debt, if we have $30 million of existing debt this year, and we pay off $5 million next year, then we only have $25 million outstanding. And if the equalized assessed value stays the same, then that capacity goes up a little bit. But there's those two variables that right now we don't really anticipate that the equalized assessed value is going to go back up for the next couple of years. Our estimates show that it's going to be kind of level. So we don't want to do more than we think we can. We don't want to get ourselves in a problem with that maximum debt capacity. So we landed on $29 million, and the architect indicated that they felt we could construct what we're presenting with those dollars.
And forgive me if this was already answered, but who got together and made these suggestions that this is what our school needed in terms of additions?
And certainly Charlie Johnson can answer that too, but this is a process that's been going on probably for about a year.
One of the things that the first thing that we did when Fannie High was hired, we did what was called a master facility plan, and it had a number of components in it. It had a physical assessment, where we walked through buildings and looked at them and evaluated the conditions of those buildings. It had an energy benchmark, which evaluated how the buildings were performing from an energy perspective. And then it had an educational adequacy assessment. And what that did was we created what's known as an educational specification. What that document represents is the ideal. To the gentleman that left, and I'm sorry he did, but it represented the new building. It represented what the high school would want in all of its glories, all the number of spaces, the collaboration spaces, not just for students, but for all the teachers. There's not an office for any single teacher in this building. There's no storage room, there's no, so it includes lots of storage. It includes bigger and more locker rooms. The gymnasium component was quite big, including 3 gymnasiums. So it was an ideal. If money wasn't an option, that's the ideal. And what we did is we took that document, which was a program of spaces, right down to the janitor's closet, and we overlaid it onto your existing facility. In 2 ways. We did it graphically, and we also did it in numeric sense. In other words, if I overlaid a 900 square foot classroom over a 700 square foot classroom, it would tell me that we're 200 square feet short. And that's exactly what came out of it. It was a chart that said you got excess office space. If you know, if you're familiar with the front office and that workroom back there, it's kind of a large workroom, and it's not the best utilization based on its shape. It's a little bit bigger than it really needs to be for its function. That's one space. But everything else was deficient. And in terms of the overall, there was, to give you a good perspective, Bill mentioned that there was about 73,000 square feet of new space. The deficiency in the physical education program of spaces from the ideal to your actual was an additional almost 70,000 square feet. So, but those are bigger spaces. It's 3 gymnasiums instead of 2, which is what we will have at the end of this program. So that's where the deficiencies were identified. Okay, the other components that we incorporated were a capacity analysis and demographics. And we had conducted a demographic study. We've done one before, we updated that, and then it was redone by the district 2 years ago to confirm those numbers. And the variance between our original assessment and the new ones were not that great at the high school. But what it told us was if we counted all the teaching stations that we had existing and how many you have students for, you were deficient about 750 students. You had more students than you have capacity within the building to do. And that's 750 students is how we came to the planning figure. Currently, the class sizes is 1 teacher for 29 students. The planning figure that we used was 1 to 28. Doesn't seem like a big change, but when you're looking at 2,000 plus students, that's a lot of additional classrooms. And those classrooms said we need 28 additional classrooms to accommodate the extra 750 children. Then we have capacity now for, but also, to the gentleman's point, an additional 120 children that we expect to come over the next 10 years. So that's a lot of figures really quickly. But that's how we came up with the quantity of classrooms. I'll step up 1 second to say, again, when we did the assessment, there was $80 million worth of need in this building, just this building, not even district-wide, just in this building. So there's a lot of program spaces that the teachers, the staff would like to have, primarily stores, primarily teacher collaboration spaces. The district, the Board of Education said they want to focus on the students. We need to have more spaces for the students we don't have for now. So we focused on 4 classrooms. And 4 classrooms were the primary area that we were going to enhance. Again, with the assistance of the teaching and learning staff, faculty, and administration, it was also determined that there was a huge deficiency in enough spaces for education, and that's why a gymnasium came out of that. And that answers that question.
Just to add, but what you alluded to, we're playing dead with the staff of the high school on several occasions. A year ago, maybe a little more than a year ago. And then as we started this summer with the design committee, they met with user groups here in the high school to help determine what the actual need was. I have to admit, in my mind, I thought we were going to have 1 addition. But after they did their user study groups, that's where they came back with 3 or 4 different additions to fit what the high school really needed for the curriculum. And that's also where the gym came. If we were to go, one of the goals of the board was to eliminate the dual bells. If you go from 9 periods to 8 periods a day, you have more students that you don't right now have really good capacity to handle all the students in the gym. But if you condense it down to 8 periods, you have more needs than you have space. So that's where the gym came from. And this design committee is made up of community members, high school folks, district staff. That's where that debate and ultimately the recommendation was to add that gym to help accommodate the special education services that we're obligated to provide to students. So it was not done in a vacuum. I guess my point is that it was done collaboratively with the high school staff, school district administration, high school administration, and the architect. Any other questions?
I have a question for Charlie. Hi, no problem. My question is, you showed us construction schedule that we're anticipating if their money hasn't or what it has. My question is, can you talk a little bit about what the construction is going to look like when it starts? When it starts in July and what it'll, just generally, I know you don't know specifically because you know the weather is bad and everything, but just generally what you anticipate construction wise, what's coming in the building.
Well, the first thing is you'll see a lot of changes in the circulation patterns. I mean, the way people access the building is going to change, because if you know, we're taking out the front entrance and we're doing all the renovation, the internal renovation pieces will occur in the buildings occupied. Those would be primarily done in the summer. So those would be things like the changes in the elevation of the front entrance. I would push for the cafeteria changes to be made, that they happen as fast as they can, because those, as I pointed out before, even if the other pieces weren't built complete by the start of school this 2014, which they weren't. If you made those 2 changes, they're kind of a release of some of the strains that we're already experiencing. So that would be my goal. The challenges with that expectation is the equipment for cafeteria serving line renovations are very specialized. Lots of stainless steel, and stainless steel is cut to length. It's not, you can't go in like this wood and just trim it a little bit. It has to be manufactured that way. They have long wheels, so they take a long time. But I'm not ruling that out as an option. I still think we have an opportunity to do that. It's something we'll be discussing more on the 11th, which I would encourage anybody that's interested in the process of construction and how this building ultimately comes together to join the board on the 11th of March for their continuation of the goals and controls that Annette pointed out. That process will illuminate for a lot of people, especially the board, some of the opportunities that we'll have during construction and the challenges that we'll face, that will come up. As you pointed out, the contingency is there for an alternate plan if things go awry, and that's what it's for. We have to communicate with the board how those contingencies are spent, and that workshop on the 11th is going to enlighten all of us about how what the board's tolerances will be with community ultimately will want to move forward, and how we disseminate those funds towards the building project. In regards to the new portions of the work, though that my goal, and I think it would be the goal of any contractor that was working on this building as well, would be get the work in the ground and undercover. And that's kind of the two important processes that you want to do. You want to get your foundations down as fast as you can, and you want to get it under the roof. And when you do that, it allows you to work all winter long in terms of finishing the inside of it. And you saw in the STEM area, the water, the gas, the electric, and all the front commons areas, there's bathrooms that will also incorporate all those things as well. So there's a lot of trades that have to get in and work. Those addition areas will be very active with contractors. And again, something we can talk about more on the 11th, is there's an opportunity for the community to see this happening as it happens. Particularly the students of Brownlee. We won't be able to avoid a lot of the construction dust. Maybe it's an opportunity to bring those students who have interest in the trades or in the design process to kind of walk through it or to be a part of it. We talked before about mentoring opportunities for the students to engage in. And I think there was a couple students that already expressed that kind of interest. So it's going to be messy. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be irritating sometimes because you're going to be like, well, I can't even walk through the front door because of X, Y, Z. And we'll, as you've seen, even when you walk into a website that's under construction, pardon our dust, but we'll do our best to manage it. And the key during the construction process is to manage the safety and security of the building and the students and the faculty that occupy the building. But if you'll, the intention is the primary additions will be worked on throughout the year. Again, getting in the ground and uncover, and then the renovations will occur between the two summers that we have through this process. We have the summer of 2014 and the summer of 2015. Is that okay?
The new construction at Big South Addition, both the lawn existing classrooms and the wraps around the fine arts wing. Currently, if you're in the fine arts wing, you can see whatever's going on in both of those music rooms all the time through the walls. So the first question is construction noise and existing instruction, trying to have class while they're sawing and hammering next door, but also soundproofing so that the kids having math in the room that is right next to the music room are not trying to talk over the people.
Yes. And great question. Great question. I'll ask the second one first. It is an exterior wall, plus plus, if we go to the tool, I'm going specifically very close. Let's see, so I can use it there. This is the area you're talking about. This is an exterior wall, plus we have because it's two different constructions, we have to separate them by code. Okay, so there's going to be a separation here that is, you can't see it at the scale, but it's depth. When you think about the spaces in like Chicago, 4 feet of space, it's going to start with the sound as well. It's going to help. Also, we have this is a mechanical space. We'll have additional spaces that buffer that away from these primary classrooms that are over here. But the sound internally in that space is going to compensate these walls. How buffer that sound that's included. During construction, this would be built first, and again, we hope would be over the summer, in terms of getting in the ground this summer. The other piece is some activities are louder than others, And the real loud activities, we try to dedicate to second shift, or when kids are in the building. But a lot of the activities that we'll be doing, like electrical wiring for lights and power, and a lot of the stuff is not as loud as you think. And it can occur, painting, for example, laying in grids and stuff. There's a lot of things that can happen. Putting on carpet is a particularly loud activity. The noise factor is something we have to build into the construction documents that says to the contractor that you can't do these types of things. Same with one of the things that will happen. There'll be moments when you have to tie into the existing system or connect. And there's physical connections, because here, where we're connecting the existing building to the new, that can happen, just one day. Results in a day, or it's just opens up. That won't happen until your next summer, the second summer. But even in the interim of it, there'll be times when they have to tie in utilities. So when they have to cut off the power, they're not going to do that during school either. Those activities will happen on weekends, over the holidays, or for spring breaks that we'll have this time. So we want to manage that. It's a management tool, and quite frankly, the biggest key will be communication with the building administration. Every day, the contractor will have a conversation with Dr. Mendoza, and every day he or she is going to have a conversation with Charlie Griffith. Every day they're going to be communicating. These are the activities we're doing, and this is where we're doing it. One of the other goals that I think would be worth looking into when we get a contract on board is the idea that even if just this area got done like by Christmas 2014, and all of a sudden you have space that people can be in that they don't have, and the pressure that's going to pull from the building might allow Dr. Mendoza to say, we're not this part of the semester we're going to have these classroom activities in here until we get that construction done. So the hope too is that we get some flexibility with the new parts of the buildings as they come online. I mean, this isn't a very large addition. It could happen that way. That would be lovely if it got done on a fast enough track that they could utilize it in the year of 2015. But again, it's something we have to dialogue with the contractor on. People we have to
Any other questions? Yes.
Okay, now you talk about all this construction and stuff. Now, what happens if the referendum doesn't get voted in?
What happens if the referendum doesn't pass?
Yeah, and I'll try to speak for Dr. Mendoza. I think he has lots of plans in works. And he's indicated that he will still try to move forward with those as much as he can.
I would say the comprehensive improvement plan is not contingent on the referendum passing. So, I mean, I don't think that would be prudent. So we've got a path. I mean, with some of the things, we have an A plan and a B plan. So if it passes, we're going to go one way. If it doesn't, we're going to go another way. So
I'm just wondering about that. Thank you.
Work still must go forward, so we still have to focus on our kids and do what we know is the right thing to do for them. Other questions? Yes.
The building of the new 30 classrooms, is that going to include staffing them with new teachers, or do we already have those teachers on staff and they're just sharing classrooms?
We've had that conversation, and at this point, we don't need to add 30 additional teachers. The students are currently being served, and so there may be a few teachers that we need to be added at that point in time, but it's not overwhelming at this point, and we're not concerned about that from a budget perspective just yet. And I think we talked maybe 4 to 5. Mainly, one of the big ones may be physical education teachers, because now we have additional physical education space.
And how about non-certified staff?
We talked about maybe some security and some folks like that.
Keep in mind, we have some classrooms now that are in the portables, so we will be bringing
Right.
those classrooms in.
Well, and I realize that the teachers share classrooms at this
Yes.
point. I
Yes.
realize that.
Yes.
That's why I was just asking
Yes.
about how many more staff you're looking at?
I think we thought preliminarily about 6 additional staff members. We met about a month ago and had a conversation.
Yes.
Is there a reason why there's an open space in the middle of the school?
The triangle?
Yeah, the triangle.
That's what's called an opportunity. That is, you'll be able to go from in this building at the lower level, the level that this is at, out of that corridor. And because it's kind of dramatic, if you've ever looked at it, the corridor right now, it's kind of a dramatic drop. You can have seating that's built into it. So it becomes yet another commons, an exterior commons, that students could go out and hang out. In the not today, but there'll be some times, but it will get warmer. But there will be some, that's an opportunity for another teaching and learning place, space. And exterior spaces are just as important. In addition to that, it also provides light to these classrooms on the inside of the building.
Yes.
Since we are putting in a new gym, are we gonna add an additional locker room to accommodate for those students?
It's not in the cards today, but the need for locker rooms is absolutely very high.
I think the reason she's asking is because the girls' locker room is so out of the area, so when you're visiting school, you're going in the guys. And it needs to be considered also that maybe we need to split that somehow and share those locker rooms as co-eds, where it could be girls and guys downstairs for the upper gym, and then the other one could be guys and girls, but there's a wall that defines that they're split. And now you're adding a third gym, which is going to open it up another possibility for the games, so you're gonna have more students using that third gym with no locker rooms that are that accessible. And you're talking about times for students to get to gym to meet the state things. It just, the locker rooms are horrible in our locations.
They are. And if you might recall the lady's question down here about who came up with this, how did we get to here? The deficiency in physical education, including locker room spaces and storage room spaces for gym and athletic activities, quantified with locker rooms. The program of spaces we put together included a football locker room, equal sizes of male and female locker rooms for both physical education and competition. So it had all of those things in it. And again, it's this difference in about 60,000 square feet, and it's just dollars and cents game. We focus on putting it in classrooms so we didn't have kids in portables and they didn't have no bell schedule. The need for the modifications in the locker room still resides. I will say, there, you can't see it on the plan. This is where the locker rooms are at the lower level. The nice part is no one will have just one access to get down there. There will be an opportunity to get to those lower locker rooms down here. If we renovated them at a future date, and it is still in the plan to ultimately renovate those, that would help some of the issues. There's still a need for reconfiguring a lot of the space down here, and we have to, that would be phase 2. But the nice part about renovation versus new construction, you can phase that in more gradually. It's hard to get the dollars to go in. I know it's not the answer you're looking for, but it's the
It's an answer.
It's the compromise.
It's just a strange, like, accommodation, I should say. You're adding a third gym that students understand they need it, but kind of look at it and go, but there's nowhere to change. And then you're expecting us to run, as a female, from a lower area to that third gym to make our class. Whereas the guys can go from the center to that gym.
It's not ideal. I guess I'd go back to my favorite design of the new building.
So I have a question. We were in this room not even a year ago about a health clinic. Is that health clinic still coming in? And is that construction starting also at the same time this is? So is that double construction that our students are gonna have to go through and try to figure out how they're gonna cope with all that?
From the current information that we've received from the health department, they actually opened their construction bids today.
Okay,
And that is going to be right in this area, so it doesn't affect what we're doing. Their plan is to have it started building and completed by the start of the school year next August. So they're on a very fast time frame. So that hopefully will be in place and completed by the time we break ground this summer, or close to being completed by the time we break ground this summer.
my only other suggestion is, you guys talked about 2 ways this can go for us as a homeowner. You said if everything goes great, this is the plan. But nowhere on the website did I see, if I say no to the vote, what is the plan? You might want to make parents aware of that. I mean, I tried to get more parents out here tonight, but again, they saw what happened at McGee. They're not happy with what the results of McGee's restructuring was. There's fear. I'll be honest, there's fear on all your shoulders of how it's going to take place here. I'm voting yes, but they need to see the 2 differences. If you guys say no, you're going to make this amount of space. If we say yes, this could be possible what's going on.
There is a document, there may be still a document we put together. Here's the current reality, here's the referendum.
On the tax dollars.
But there is showing the spaces. If the referendum doesn't pass.
I printed everything that you have on the school website right here.
Okay.
And only map that I have is the one that says if we pass the referendum.
I mean, there's not a lot, if the referendum doesn't pass, there's not a lot of opportunity in dollars to do any of these renovations. So we're back to the dual bell schedule, we're back to maintaining the portables. So everything pretty much stays the same.
So everything that's on the map is gonna stay, but you're saying it's not, as some of the things that were discussed.
Everything we talked about here would not be taking place. The building.
Are you talking about the greens or all of
The
them?
yellow and the green, all of this is new construction dependent upon the $29 million bond issue. So if we do not get that, the buildings will stay just like that.
Okay.
No construction involvement to the building of referendum passed. As Dr. Mendoza indicated, there's a plan B so we can still improve the education quality, but there's no construction, there's no addition, nothing's being built. What's plan B?
I mean, it's more on the instructional side, the curriculum side, is try to implement some of these programs that they want to do to help the students get to that 21st century learning environment. Now, another thing, I mean,
Is that part of what the problem is with some people is that that's what we really want to hear as parents, is that it's not just about the $29 million that we're going to have, if it passes, we'll have this beautiful addition, this great, we want plan B no matter what. Right. So as long as that is going to align with the new additions, that we're not gonna have this great building and still be getting a 16 on our ACT. That's our concern.
no, I mean, I have all the confidence in the world that the high school leadership is going to move the students forward. It's just easier and better for them down the road if we had the 21st century environments.
And I want to, here again, Don, as he indicated, he has a vision for where he wants to move the high school. And as he indicated, he will be bringing, he and I had discussion regarding this. We have not brought this to the board yet. This is coming to the board in March. So the board has not heard this information. And so this will be coming. The board will have to, really have conversation and really endorse the direction that we want to move in. And so that is something that we want to do, whether the changes take place in the physical plant or not. we know that our goal and our desire is to move our students forward academically here at the high school.
And even if the referendum passes, we're not gonna see the results of that until the year after next. Well, for us, for me personally, we can't wait then to start improving opportunities for kids. So, in the end, the plan is, that I will be proposing is irrespective of the referendum. What it will do, it will allow us to maybe expand and enhance some of those things if it does pass. And I'll be able to talk about that. I kind of alluded to one of them with the engineering. That would be an example.
Because I think that was like first and foremost when this first started. Yes. As a parent, my husband and I, we looked at each other, we were like, well, what's the point of this great, beautiful building if we don't want, that's what we wanted to hear. That no matter what, the education is still going to.
Yes, yes.
And that's district-wide, that's just not just the high school, that's district-wide, the student achievement.
Building on, it sounds like they're talking to the choir, so to speak, but Dr. Rose said the administration and teaching and learning is challenged by the facilities. The facilities are not conducive to providing teaching and learning at the best scenery. But there are things that I know that they'll do regardless, and that includes things like professional development, that includes things like, pull-outs and all these other activities, but with the facility that we're showing today, the opportunities open up, larger. They're not endless, they don't provide locker rooms, but they're going to be, I'm ecstatic standing here thinking that in 3 weeks we're going to be working and putting this together. This is going to be a big because it's going to be such a game changer for your district.
Question?
By their very nature, the mobile classrooms are a temporary solution.
Yes.
And if I understand it correctly, the Illinois State Board of Education only allows the use of temporary units for a period of time. How much longer does that, and what would the impact be if the construction did not take place?
We would have to determine, at this point, I can't answer the length of time. My sense is they've been here for a number of years. And I'm not sure if the Illinois Board of Education is looking at us for that. If they had to be, there's 6 classrooms. And so that's currently helping with the capacity issues. Again, the building is built for about 1,538 as a capacity of students. The 6 portables allow us to have a capacity of a little over 1,700. Again, with the enrollment, this fall was over 2,055 in September. It's gone down a little bit since then. So that would just put more stress and strain on the existing facilities with maintaining a reasonable class size.
If we got rid of the mobiles, we would actually have to start looking at number of credits required to graduate and start thinking about decreasing those because we would be limited in terms of what we could offer.
Yes.
With that being spoken about what our capacity is right now, what the enrollment of our capacity is today, what is it with the incoming students coming in with the ones leaving? Because I know the ones leaving aren't a high number of the ones that are coming in.
It was alluded to a little earlier. We did an updated enrollment projection in the fall of 2012. And that shows over the next 10 years, pretty consistent enrollment at the high school. It goes up a little over 100 students over that period of time. So we're not having a big influx of students, at least right now based on the projections, coming to the high school. So what's been proposed here, 2250, it would still, it would fit within that capacity if we did get the 100 kids over the next 10 years.
Right, but that's the new growth, correct?
Right.
You're saying if we add that.
Yes.
If for some reason this doesn't pass,
Then
how?
we have to start looking at other options within the existing space.
And as a parent of an incoming freshman, when would that decision be made? How would we know as incoming parents of freshmen where our freshmen would be? Only because I want the best for my student. I don't want any freshman or any student in Round Lake to feel like they aren't getting their best education because they're on a second kind of a bell. They have to figure out a whole new stress level of figuring out how sports are going to be applied in, because let's say you have a huge group of freshmen that come in and they're in sports. Now you have to accommodate that schedule for them for that two-bell thing. So, I mean, there's a lot that's in place there.
Well, you know, I think that we know that the referendum is scheduled on March 18th. I think depending on what happens on March 18th, then we have to, if the referendum does not pass, then as we continue to take a look at it, plan for the upcoming year, and knowing what our numbers are going to be, which is what we do every year, we have to know what is going to be the impact, what our, just like we take a look at how many teachers do we need, in what subject area, where our classes, and what classes we need, etc., how many students we have within the building. We start planning for that immediately, taking a look at, and not just portables at the high school, we have portables at other schools. So we take a look at all of that to see how we're going to accommodate our students. So that is done immediately. So I think that if we know that we're not able to get some relief, but, and here again, as we said, in the fall of next year, we know that we will not have the extra classrooms that we're talking about for the fall. So therefore, we will be looking at to see if there are any changes that we need to do or what we need to do in the interim until we have the additional classrooms. So we continue to monitor that on a yearly basis. Okay? I just want to thank everybody for coming out. Your questions have been wonderful. You know, we just really thank you for your participation. We have another community forum so that we can hopefully accommodate those who can't make it at night. We may find that coming during the day may be easier for them. On March 4th at 9 a.m. until 10:30 a.m. we will be in the same location, and we ask that you let those who the morning may be better for them, let them know that we will be here and we will be available to do the same presentation, to answer their questions. If you would like to come back at that time, please feel free to do so. If you have additional questions, please feel free to contact us or come at that time and ask the questions then. But thank you so much for coming and sharing with us.
I also ask you that you share the website if you want to take any of this information along with you, and share the website with the community, with your friends